This is where live experiences come to life. From game day to sold out shows, where moments turn into memories and the real stories happen behind the scenes. The people, the access, and the hustle behind it all. This is Take a Savvy Seat. How you doing? Welcome back to Take a Savvy Seat. I'm Tommy Gucciardo, your host. This is where sports, business, and real life collide. From the stands to behind the scenes, we're going to talk tickets, experiences, and, the hustle that makes it happen, So whether you're chasing a moment or you're just building something, pull up a seat. And today we got a really special guest. We got Chris Hubbard, who's an NFL offensive lineman. He's been around for a long time, but he's not just a football player. He has some stuff behind the scenes, overcoming together. And I wanted to introduce you to Chris.
Hey guys, what's going on, everybody? Glad to be here. Glad to be here with Tommy, man. Thank you for this opportunity, man. This is a great place to be in right now.
Right. No, definitely. So tell us a little bit about yourself. You were undrafted, right? You've been in the league for 13 years. So the mindset around that, coming, not being drafted, it's got to be a bummer, man. You work your whole life to beat in that moment, and then you go undrafted, but then somebody pick you up. Walk us through that.
Yeah, like you said, Tommy, man, I was undrafted. First of all, coming out of high school, went to Carver High School in Columbus, Georgia. Won a championship there my junior year, and started to get some buzz, with teams my junior year, and started executing at a high level, coming into my senior year. Got close into the semifinals rounds, and we lost, before going into that championship for the next round. But coming out of high school, man, I was not the biggest person, you know what I mean? As far as offensive lineman wise, I was about 250, playing right tackle, trying to make a name for myself. And I had some offers from colleges that took a chance on me, like Mississippi State, UCLA, and then UAB came in the mix. Of course, we had like Middle Tennessee. We had other colleges that were interested. But my main thing for me, man, when I wanted to, on my college recruiting visits, I wanted to find a family, oriented program. And UAB, they checked every mark off. I was close to home. I was close to be able to, be close to my family. Because I'm a very, very, very family oriented person. So,
right.
We didn't have a lot of money because I was just thinking about the possibilities of the UCLA, man. My mom couldn't afford a plane ticket.
Right.
That's a whole trip, going out there cross country. You know what I mean? So for me, I wanted my family to be able to see me continue to play football, and that's one thing that's why I chose UAB.
Right.
I feel like I had a good career at UAB, man. It brought me and taught me how to be a man, and I had a lot of ups and downs there. From my freshman year up until my senior year. I was almost about to get ready to get kicked out my freshman year because my first time away from home, honestly, and trying to find a name for myself and just trying to fit in with different crowds and a lot more freedom. So I had to create some type of structure there, man.
Right.
Most importantly, man, the one reason I feel like I was going to fall off is because my grandfather, he passed my freshman year. So that's why it took a turn for me. When it comes to me staying on track, it was hard. But to go back to being undrafted, man, it took a lot of hard work and dedication to get even that call, man. I thought I was going to get picked up. I had got a call from Seattle during the middle of the draft, and they were like, I could be 6th or 7th round. But at the end of the draft, man, was over. Got a call from Pittsburgh Steelers, man. It changed my whole life, man. It really did.
So how did you feel like, after college was over, after, that, did you feel like you had a shot at the pros? Were people reaching out to you? Or did you just think it was a long shot at that point?
Yeah, like I said, I knew that I had a chance, man. I just needed that my foot in the door, man. I just needed my foot in the door. And I'm like I said to you before, Pittsburgh Steelers, they called me. Seattle, they called me. I thought I was going to be a Seattle Seahawks, honestly, because they were heavy, talking to my agents at the time about getting me up there to Seattle, and that I would have loved to do that, but thank God, Pittsburgh Steelers, they called me. Coach Tomlin. When I heard his voice on the phone, I'm like, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
being a kid that was told that was too small, not big enough, and you'll never make it far. Man, that's all I needed was that fire and
Yeah. So
motivation.
you overcome a lot, right? Like,
Yeah.
just, being a small guy, playing a position that, now is you got to be a monster to play that position.
You
Right?
do. You really do, man. You have to be guys that's like 315 and up, you know what I mean? So that's one of the things that I struggled with, coming
Right.
on with gaining weight, because my frame was not that big as far as like weight wise, so but I had to make adjustments.
And the thing that boggles my mind, the guy 315, he's just as quick as a guy who's 200 pounds. It's
Oh
crazy,
yeah,
like how athletic they are now.
man, the amount of changes we've seen along the way with the NFL, man, it's
Hmm.
insane, man. I love it though. I love it. It just shows you how the generations have changed over time.
Right. So how'd you adapt to that? I know, like, you came in. What'd you come into the NFL at? What was your weight at the
I,
NFL?
I came into the NFL. I was right at 285, right at 285, and I fluctuated between 285 and 290,
Hmm.
and honestly, I started to just started to heavy weight train, man, like to do weight training a lot and a lot more protein. Once I got around guys like Marquise Pouncey, Ramon Foster on that O
Right.
line that when I was in Pittsburgh, Marcus Gilbert. I just learned a lot, watching those guys every single day on what they're putting in their body. I was just like a little lab rat, just trying to
Right.
just
Just a sponge grabbing
the
everything, right?
sponge, man. Just trying to pick up uh, as much as possible along the way, and it
Right.
was fast, man. It was fast my first year. I honestly feel like it. It definitely went by fast, and I definitely like enjoyed the process of it all.
Well, he's still around 13 years later, right? So that tells you something. That means you're working hard. People see that, and that's a testament to who you are, right?
Oh yeah, yes sir. And most importantly, man, I think that my grandfather instilled that in me as well as my dad, man. Like you don't get the things that you want out of life by just sitting around, man.
Right. No, definitely, definitely. But I know you have some other stuff beside football that you deal with. You have the overcoming together, and I know you have a lot of stuff in your personal life that
Yeah.
you've been through, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, I know you at one point I believe it was Cleveland Browns. You walked in, you wanted to quit, you wanted to
Yeah,
hang it
man.
up.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, coming from Pittsburgh, man, I had a fun ride there, 5 years there. Um, Absolutely amazing, man. Moments in my life there. And then, had a great free agency. I got the call that Cleveland Browns were wanting to sign me, man. And,
Hmm.
a kid from Columbus, Georgia, we didn't make a lot of money, and boom, that's a lot of money right there, and right there in your lap, you signing for it. So I struggled with the fact that, you know, a lot of family that I didn't know about, asking me about what can they get from me and things of that sort. And it was just a lot to take in, man. And for me, I felt a lot of pressure on my shoulders because I
Hmm.
never, at that moment, I realized everything changed because everybody looked at me for their problems. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I honestly, I didn't handle it well. So I kind
Mm.
of shut down, man, because I'm a giving person, man. But at the same time, I feel like I was getting taken advantage of.
Yeah,
And
you're out there hustling, working your butt off to
yeah,
to to get where you want to get in life, and people looking for a free ride. That's got to be, a lot of athletes probably deal with that, and that's the sad part about it.
yeah. I feel like everybody deals with it. A lot of athletes do deal with it, man. And I feel like, spaces being able to talk about these things so that people don't make the same mistakes that, I have made,
Right.
and others have made, man, I think it's important to just share and talk about, man.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I got to a point where, at that time, my ex-wife, man, I was, we were going through things at the time,
Hmm.
and my marriage was rocky, man. I'm divorced now. Been divorced for a while now, but it was a struggle to try to juggle that on top of being the person that everybody's looking at. You know, I feel like I'm not being enough for my family and my in-home family. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It was a lot at once, man. Struggling, try to find a way to breathe. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
just felt suffocated. You know what I mean? And just trying to cope with that, and on top of being a professional athlete was tough, man. It was tough. I found a lot of dark days where I was stuck in my basement, in my movie basement room, honestly, just in the dark, just trying to cope, man, and crying and trying to figure out what I can do to be a better person. And
Right.
I eventually, talked to my coaches and, talked to them on what was going on, because I called them one day. I called coach one day and I was like, Coach, I don't even have it in me today. I was literally like, I literally did not have the aware to be able to get up out the bed physically, to be able to perform, to go out there and practice, man, and to get ready for the upcoming week. I struggled, man. So then took a turn, got with a therapist, Tiffany Rush. I'll never forget Miss Tiffany Rush, man, my therapist there in Cleveland. She helped me out, man. We did our weekly therapy moment sessions like every Tuesday. Those are off days, so I was able to find different tools to help me out, man, and it sure enough helped me to get myself together, but also realize what's important.
Right. So you reached out to a coach. Did you just relate to him, or you felt comfortable going to him, or was he like a mentor to you? Like, what made you reach out to that specific coach?
Man, because they depend on me, man. Like,
Right.
like they depend on me, and I just wanted to be upfront. I was always, my grandfather always told me to be honest with people, man. Be upfront about what you may be feeling or what's going on in your life, man. So it was one of those moments where I just felt like I couldn't climb up by myself, man.
Right.
And that's where I knew that I could trust my coach, man. And from then on, shoot, our relationship got stronger too. With Coach Stefanski, man. He really like understood, like, and started to take mental health serious too.
Right.
Around that building. So I think if it wasn't for that conversation, man, with him and being upfront with him, because he had an open door policy. You know what I mean? So, and that's what I did. I just took that, and I was like, man, I can't just hide this anymore, because I feel like it's starting to, you know, spread over into my NFL career, man. So
Right.
I didn't want that to happen.
And we're men, right? So like men are supposed to be strong. They're not
Right.
supposed to cry. They're not supposed to, they're supposed to take care of everything. But then
Hmm.
here you are, this professional football player, strong, on one hand, you're
Right.
one thing, and then behind the scenes, you're another thing,
Yeah.
and that's the shame of it, because we don't have people to talk to, right? Like, we don't want to talk. You get embarrassed, and you're sitting, and I'm just thinking that you're sitting in that basement by yourself. And I've been in those places before,
Oh,
where
yeah.
you're just like, is it all worth it? Like, what are we doing here? You
That's true,
know?
man. That's true. Those are the thoughts that I was thinking about. And my son, Creed. I was thinking about, like, man, like I used to have those moments like, what am I doing it for? And then,
Right.
like, I got to think about that little boy. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
and what will he say, or how he will look at me? You know what I mean? As far as like what I'm going through, or it's important for myself to be a better person, so I can be able to make sure that he's good and
Right.
not put those traumas on him. You know what I mean? So those are the things that I started to think about as I started to get better with therapy. Like, no, like, I need to be better, because I don't want to bring these things towards him, and bring him down, or I'll make him feel a certain way, but also be honest with him when I had those tough times in my life.
Yeah, I
Being
know. So
transparent.
you gotta think about those. We're parents, right? We have to, we have to help our kids to be better than we are,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You
That's
know,
the that's the evolution of life, man. Like you want him to. I want him to be better than I was, man. And
right.
and whatever seeds that I'm able to plant, and for him to grow, I'm willing to do so, man. And that's the part that I think that's the most important part about life, man.
Right. That's nuts, man. It's like, we're responsible for people, and sometimes we can't even be responsible for ourselves.
Yeah, that's very true, man. Like if we don't take care of ourselves, how can we be better for everybody else, man?
Exactly. Exactly.
Like that's what it's about, man. We
I mean,
gotta.
you got such a great smile, and I know you're a giver, and I know
Oh yeah,
you like
yeah.
you definitely turned a corner in your life, right? Like you
Yes,
feel
sir.
better about yourself. And listen, I'm sure you have dark days, right? Like if
Oh
you
yeah,
tell me,
we
if,
do, we definitely do. Yeah, we
you
have moments, but I know now how to work myself, how to get out of those moments.
right.
Like,
That's the key to it, right? Like,
yeah,
because every day's not going to be, rainbows and sunshine, right? There's going to be
no,
something
man.
happening. You might have a bad day of practice. You might get cut. Like, how do you respond to these things? That's the important thing.
Yeah, most importantly, man. Like, when I'm gonna be honest with you, when I got cut, because that was my first time ever being like honestly cut when I was with the 49ers about 2 years ago. I was cut by the 49ers, and I was like, dang, I was just sitting there like, man, I've never been cut before. Always been, waived and then brought back, but not actually cut.
Right.
So that was just a settling moment for myself. Like, man, but I'm all right though. I'm not. I felt like I would have been, depressed, down, but I was like, man, you know what? I did what I was supposed to do. It just wasn't meant for me.
Right.
But
Right.
then, things changed. They called me back. You know what I mean? So imagine if I would have took that and would have been negative about the situation the whole entire time. But I
Right.
went back and smiled, and I was like, it wasn't meant for me, man. Things will work out the way they need to work out for me. If it's meant for me, I always tell people, if it's meant for me, it'll be. If it's not, then we shall see. You know?
Of course, and that's the thing. We just have to, sometimes things happen for a reason, right? It might not be the right time, it might not be the right situation. As long as you keep your head about yourself, things always work out.
Oh, no doubt about
They
it.
might not work out the way you want them to work out, but they'll
Right?
work out.
They will. They will, man. The world has a way of working itself out, man. It really
Right.
does. Yeah, I tell people that all the time, man. You just really got to keep pressing forward and keep working. Keep working on yourself. Keep working at your craft. Keep working on whatever that passion and purpose in your life that you have. Keep working at it, man.
Right.
Just keep chipping away.
So let's talk about your Overcoming Together Foundation. Why don't you give me a little background on that, what it does, and how it helps people?
Yeah, so to go back, with Overcoming Together Foundation, man, how it all started, man. It basically, started when I was in Cleveland. I just during that time of struggling, man, I was like, man, like overcoming, man. Like, I've been through so much through my life, and I've overcame, these things. Um, with his family, with his friends. We did it together. And I was like, brainstorming with my mom, on different things on what the foundation could mean and what it could stand for. And overcoming together just sounds so natural and so genuine and so pure because we can overcome together. If you got the right people in your circle, you got
Hmm.
the right people behind you. We could do so much together because you can't do it. I feel like you can't do it. You can't do it alone. There's always somebody that can either give you a little nugget, motivation, something, man. And it was near and dear to my heart to be able to start a foundation that shows gratitude towards people and bring people together, and also just relate a message like, man, you're not alone. Whether you're far away, whether you're down the street, we can overcome this thing together, no
Right.
matter what. So that's why it's important for me. We've done rallies before, done car shows, giving back to the community. We did turkey drives. We did also um, uh, multiple things in Cleveland where we gave away food and just trying to make sure this upcoming. Well, we're supposed to do something next month where we're going to give back school supplies, to the community together. So that's what it's about, man. Coming together, overcoming together, and raising their awareness on what mental health really means.
Right. Now, do the teams start helping you more with this kind of stuff now? Because I gotta think it's more prevalent in this society now.
Yeah, no, like teams helped out, man. But Anton, man, he has doggone like really been the focal point, man, of helping me out with this whole transition, man, with overcoming together, making sure that we show motivation. We reach the people. We are motivating. So he's been a big part of helping me brainstorming on things that we can, do for the community and how we can make it aware for everybody that's out there.
Right. Yeah, and I keep leaning back to this in my head, right? Like, you're in a locker room with how many people?
Yeah,
Probably half of them or more probably feel the same way as you do, right?
Oh yeah.
And they're probably scared to talk about it. Like, it'll affect their paycheck or it'll affect their livelihood or something. But, it's got to be really, really tough. It's especially, for an athlete. If you have a little bit of mental health issues, to be in that because you always have to perform, right?
You do, man. It's like you have to have a switch of being able to turn it off and turn it on, because if you carry that whole load the whole time, just like on, you'll burn yourself out, man, and you'll mentally break yourself down like to a point where you can't, like I said, you are just suffocating,
Right.
And that's why, honestly, I like to talk to a lot of people, man, in that locker room, man, because I'll start with the question, man, how are you doing, man? Like, you doing all right, man? Are you feeling anything like negative, or are you feeling anything like what? Like I always, me and my guys, when we talk about, man, like, man, what part of your day today? What's something in your day that made you happy or made you smile? And that stuff like that, man, when you have those conversations, man, it kind of open up those spaces to where people feel comfortable, man.
You might have to use that when you're playing. Tell the defensive lineman, ask him that. So maybe you make him go to sleep a little bit.
Like you do talk. I do talk to some of the defenders, man. Like, I laugh out there. They're like, man, what are you smiling about, man? I'm like, I'm enjoying this, man.
Right.
Like I'm having fun, man. Like, you having fun? Like, yeah. Like, and that's when the icebreaker kick in. Like, yeah, like I started talking. I'm like, man, you good hands. It's just little small comments, man. Like, good hands. You had some good hands on that play, but my hands better. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you gotta make football fun, man. And that's the one part where I'm always having fun with it, man.
Yeah, I think you see it more now with sports, and that it's so much of a business, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's all about the dollars. It's all about. And I was thinking about when you got waived. They might have wanted you, but they might have to waive you so they could save a few dollars to pick you back up later.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, because if you didn't have a good mindset on that, it could take you to a bad place, right?
Yeah, most definitely, man. I think that, like I said to you before, I think that if I didn't have that mindset, man, and walking around like harping on like what could have been, I'm spreading that negativity around other people, man.
Right.
We come across a lot of people every single day, and energy is transferred, man. I don't want to bring that on somebody else's day, man. I cope with it. I deal with it. Like, shoot, man, I got wave. I told a couple of my people, like, hey, I got wave, man, but it's gonna be all right. The next train, the train gonna keep moving, man.
Right, exactly. So I know you're in you're still playing. You're involved with other teams and everything, and you start talking about your mental health. Does anybody like come to you and ask for anything or talk to you? Like, do you feel like by you speaking about it gives other players the courage to talk about stuff?
Oh yeah. That's I feel like now, honestly, when I was in Detroit, man, I talked to a lot of guys. Excuse me. I talked to a lot of guys about mental health and what it means to me, and that O-line group that I was with. We shared and talked a lot about how we're doing things that we can work on, things mentally, how we can get better. Um, but I think it starts with not being afraid to share, man. And I'm always gonna share my story because, man, I just want people to know, like, man, you're not alone, man. Things that I've been through may not be as most challenging as the other person has been through, but there's some similarity somewhere. So it's always something that we can talk and share together, work together, and I think that's a part. That's what brotherhood is about, man.
Right.
Brotherhood is about being able to, be open with that person, man. Not scared to say anything, or kind of just like have this guard up. So I'm always trying to share my story so people can be comfortable about bringing, sharing theirs as well.
Right. Yeah, because everybody's story is different, right? Like
Yeah.
how they got to wherever they got to in life or what they went through. But you
Mhm.
know what, like, and because I always feel that it ends up, it's all about the feelings, right?
Yeah.
So we all have the same feel. So we get identified to the feelings. Whether I went through something worse than you went through, it's all about the feelings, the insecurity, the not feeling right,
Yeah.
the pressure of, your family looking to you for support. So, it's all about, it doesn't matter if your story was worse than mine. It's about those feelings
It's
and how
about
we can identify to those.
right. You're right. You're right. I think that's a big part of it, man. No matter what no matter what part of what you've been through, like, it's about the feelings that you dealt with. The things that you suppress or trying to figure out. Because sometimes we just don't know. Like, we just like a feeling could just be like, I'm blah today. Like, I don't know how to feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to feel today. Like, you have to be able to understand that and really sit down and just be able to have that awareness of, like, man, I got to take time for myself to be able to be a better me.
Right.
I got to do something. I got to do something today to make me happy so I can make sure I'm not spreading this around everywhere I go. That
Yeah.
could be
Because
working.
negativity could just sit with you and cause so many.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be working out. That could be going for a walk. That could be just sitting down praying, doing something that helps you to cope and really sharpen your mind. You know what I mean? That could be just listening to, like, some music, some that makes you happy. Anything, man, that just gets you to feel better. So I think for me, it's always starting out, man, with praying to God, man. Thank you, God, for this brand new day that you've given me. May I be a light to somebody. May I just bring joy to myself, bring joy to my kids, and just also just be a better version today than I was yesterday. So
Right.
that's always it, man. To start the day.
Yeah, listen, as long as you can try to be one, because yesterday's over. There's nothing you can do about it,
You
right? Like,
can't go back
it,
and change
yeah,
it.
it's all mistakes that you made. Like, the problem, don't make those same mistakes today, right?
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
what you got to try to do. And we're not perfect, right? We're not
We're
perfect
not.
human
We're
beings.
not, man. I
We
always
all
think,
make mistakes. We all have bad days. We all
yeah,
have good days. It's, how do we make every day better? And you hit the nail right on the head. It's all about gratitude, you
of,
know?
of course, man. The
Like,
grad,
listen, when my life is good, and even when bad things are happening, when I'm in that mindset of being grateful and I have gratitude, it doesn't matter what happens. You
not
know,
not even the smallest
it
bit.
doesn't matter. All the bad stuff is still going to be there, but you look at it, and as soon as you take away that gratitude, man, that's when the darkness comes in.
I agree. I agree. You start to look at life and, like, man, things are not happening my way, but look, I'm still breathing. I'm still breathing. I'm still able to move my limbs.
Right.
Those little small things, man. Like, I think a lot of people take for granted, man. A lot of
Right.
people take for granted.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. Life is too short and too precious.
It really is short, man. I talk about it every day, man. Me and my girlfriend, we talk about it every day. Like, man, like, we got one life. How are we going to get better today, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally? Those are the things those four topics that we talk about on a daily basis, man, because you know you want to be here for a long extended amount of time for your life, man, because we see people dying every day that are 32 years old, and I'm 35, man. I'm grateful, man. Like, just natural causes of death, I think, you know what I mean. natural causes of death. We're seeing younger people dying every day, man, and it's
Yeah, it's scary. It is scary.
very scary, man. And I thank God that He's able to wake me up today. And I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I know today I'm thankful.
That's all we can do, man.
Yeah.
Just wake up, be grateful, and move on. That's
That's it, man. That's it.
All right. Well, you gave us a lot of insight today. I'm glad we had a chance to talk. You're definitely an inspiration. You're a guy who's been in the league for 13 years, undrafted, still here, still with a smile on his face, been through some up and downs.
Yeah.
That tells me a lot about your character and who you are.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate you, Tommy, man.
Yeah,
thank you for this opportunity, man.
No problem. It was a pleasure, man. If you want to tell anybody where to find you or how to find you Overcoming Together, please.
Yeah, you can go to overcomingtogether.org, man, and you can always reach me at on Instagram, chub74, or Facebook, Chris Hubbard. I'm not on Twitter like that, but or X, what we call it now.
Yeah, it's X now, right?
Yeah. But most important, I'm always on Instagram, man. So if anybody has a question or any more conversation pieces, man, just hit me up on there, man.
All right, great. Well, thanks for coming down today. Thanks for speaking to us. Thanks for enlightening us and tell us it's okay to cry. It's okay to be, but as long as you're grateful, things change.
It will change, man. And don't forget, man, this month is Man's Mental Health.
That's right.
So exactly. Don't forget about that, man. Take care of you. Take care of your mental health. Make sure that you have an outlet or tools that can help you along the way. But get around people. If you don't, like to be able to be around a lot of people, find something that works for yourself, man, to help you get better.
All right, great. Thank you, my man. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in today to Take a Savvy Seat. And if you got anything out of this, please share and like and, spread the word and go check out Chris. He's a great guy with a great story. And we'll see you next week. Have a good day.